And it has to do with being consenting to be born, or did you consent to be born? And just stay with me for a moment here. Most people, of course, all of us did not consent to be born, but the guy in this next story says he's not happy with the idea. He's a businessman in India, Raphael Samuel his name, suing his parents for bringing him into the world because he says, we didn't ask to be born, so why do we have to put up with lifelong suffering? And he's put up posters and whatnot as well as he moves towards suing his own parents for allowing him to be born. And I see our commentators are all shaking their heads over this one. So, Sean Tepper, you start this one off.
I mean, as a millennial staring down quite the economic future ahead of me, I kind of, I have an appreciation for trolls, especially when they do it in real life. I can't say that I necessarily agree with his point of view. But with that said, I didn't consent to being born, so maybe I'll slap my folks with a lawsuit.
Rebecca Zaman, I know you've got kids. What do you make of this?
Well, I mean, I hope my kids never turn around one day and say, I didn't consent to being born and I'm angry at you for putting me on this earth. But I think, yeah, the guy's a troll. I think he's having some fun, to be honest. I mean, look at those pictures, look at that beard, and the fact that he's kind of asking people to take a look at their lives. There's actually a whole part of his campaign, if you will, that is about thinking about the plants and animals of the earth and thinking about the resources that we use as more and more people are born. So he's getting attention for this very interesting campaign. If it makes a couple of people think about how they use the resources in their lives, not necessarily whether or not they create a new human, but maybe how they go about their daily lives, I think he'll think that's a success.
Yeah, and Danae's using the hashtag, parents are hypocrites. That's one of them. And he goes on to say, you're only born because your parents wanted to have pleasure, and on and on and on it goes. His parents, interestingly, are lawyers, and his mother has said she admires the fact that her son has grown up, in her words, into a fearless, independent-thinking young man. If you were in her shoes, what would you do?
Okay, well, I do have 2 young children. I guess if she's a lawyer, she's proud that he's growing up and he's, taking law into his own hands. But I'm terrified about the things that made me think, what are my kids going to grow up and sue me for? Like vegetable deception. Daughter sues mom for sneaking veggies into her smoothie. Or son sues mom for making him wear a toque when it's -47. If this guy can sue his parents for being born, what's to stop our kids from suing us for those? It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Okay, so food for thought for this guy. We'll see how that legal case works out if it actually makes its way to the court.